I was so grateful to have met today's guest last year when we were planning to bring the America's Traveling Tribute Wall here to Wethersfield. Honor to the soldier and sailor everywhere who bravely bears his country's cause. And that was from Abraham Lincoln. I love that quote. So, welcome back. I'm Dorena Federici, and this is Let's Talk About Veterans because their stories matter. My guest was in the Army, a staff sergeant. So here is Wes Shivers, who currently is with America's Traveling Tribute Wall as their tribute supervisor. So welcome, Wes. I'm so excited to see
It's
you
good to see you,
again.
Dorena. How are
It's
you?
great. Oh,
Good.
I'm great. Thank you so much. So let's just start off in the very beginning, and that is your military background. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, let's see. I joined in April of '91, and I retired in September of uh, 2017. I had a little different career. I did 10 years active duty. I got out in February of '01, but I stayed in the Guard. And then, of course, 9/11 happened,
Yeah.
which pretty much just brought me back on active. The Guard brought me back on active duty status. So I ended up finishing up my career in an AGR position, which is active duty for the Guard and Reserve. So, during that career, uh, deployments included Somalia in '93,
Wow.
Kosovo in 2000, Iraq in '05, and then Iraq again in '07, '08, and then Afghanistan in 2012 and 2013.
Wow. I did not even know that, Wes. I knew you were in
Yeah,
the military. I didn't know you were in all of those conflict
right.
areas that we hear about and we see, of course, on the cost of freedom that you bring to us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so all in all, and you know this, we have over 70,000 names when we're fully set
right.
up somewhere. And I've got six of my buddies between the night of October 3rd and 4th, for Somalia, and then four other, buddies that were brothers that are on the Iraq and Afghanistan wall.
Yeah. Those are hard to see because on the Iraq and Afghanistan, you see the names like you do the Vietnam Wall. And reading the names on there
Yeah.
is different than just seeing the Somalia thing. It's just now you're seeing the names again, and that kind of just hits you all over. What brought you to where you are now, working with America's
It's
Freedom
not one of
Troopers?
those, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I had a friend of mine that I retired with. We worked together, off and on over for a few years. And him and we retired at the exact same time. And he had spent most of his career special forces. So he knew Don, Don
Oh,
Allen, Colonel Allen, the owner,
yes.
and actually went to work for Don for a little while after he retired. And I did a few other things. I worked for a lab, and I contracted for FEMA for a little while. But Miguel hit me up one day, said, "Hey, Don's looking for somebody else, to do this." So I jumped all over it. And 5 years later, I guess this summer will be let's see, this summer will be my 26th, or I'm sorry, my sixth summer to travel with the wall.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing. And when you started out, were you starting out as a driver
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
are now? You did.
That's exactly what I did. I've been driving the whole time. There's been some time, some downtime where I've learned how to use some of our various machines, our lasers, and whether it's the CO2 lasers, or the IR lasers, or whichever ones. We have a multitude of different lasers. So I'm slowly learning, how to use some of those too. I don't know. A lot of people may or may not know that everything that we make, all these tributes we do in house. We have the frames custom made, but as far as all the names and all the engraving, we keep that close so that we can update those things anytime. Like we already are working on a new panel, um, not only for Venezuela, but now we're keeping close look at for Epic Fury. So
Yeah.
those names of those six that we lost,
Yeah.
and anything in the future, we have the ability to put those together immediately.
Yeah. I just got goosebumps all the way down to my
Yeah,
toes.
yeah,
But, you know, as much as everything is beautiful when you come to town, and let's hope we never have to make more walls after this, it's just, unfortunately, but let's hope we can retire new
agree.
laws.
Right.
Um, so what is it like for you to get on that truck and go to these towns?
Um, Man, it's even after 100 plus events that I've done, it's always an honor, especially when you know setting up our 80% replica, because it's 360 feet long. I mean, you've seen it firsthand. um when it's completely set up and you step back and look, I mean, it's you still just you really appreciate the sacrifices that those men and women on that wall um have given. Earlier we were talking about,
Right.
the the six friends that I have, on those walls, and um, I think it's helped me. I know it's helped me bring some closure, because I anytime I'm ready, I can walk up and see those names. I've seen countless people walk up and just touch their loved one's name or their friend's name, or their brother's name, and just break down. And it's there's a reason that that wall travels, for just a healing purpose, if nothing else. To pay tribute to those men and women. But being able to see that stuff,
Yeah.
it really is. It's just an honor to be able to do what I do. Not many people get this opportunity, so I don't take it lightly.
Right. And when you first started, I'm sure you didn't go to that many states and stuff like you are now. Have you hit just about every
Oh
state?
yeah. So my very first event was right here in Texas. Um, and then my second event was in South Dakota.
Wow.
And then from South Dakota, I went over to Minnesota, and but just about all points in between. So no, I immediately started traveling,
Yeah.
all over the place, and Don being, the gracious person that he is, he told me before he ever met Crystal, my wife, who now works for the
Right.
company. He
Yeah.
said, if your wife ever wants to go with you, she's welcome to crawl in the truck. So, I go home, I tell her that, and she immediately put her 2-week notice in and just started traveling with me
Hey.
everywhere. So that was,
Yeah.
it was good. We enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I love about it. You're just big old family
It
there,
is.
which is really nice. The love that's there is we don't get in a lot of places we
No,
work at,
no, not
you
at all.
know. And I know from experience having you, and I'm sure the other drivers too, but I'm just going to be talking about my Wes here. Um, Having you come into town and the way you came first and you checked over the area we were going to do it, make sure it would work. You came out beforehand. You wanted to make sure everything would be good for the event,
We
which
do.
is
We
wonderful.
we like to do site visits. We
Exactly.
can't always do them.
Hmm.
It just, you know, it, it's, number one, they're expensive to do, because it's on our own dime. And being out of Texas, coming up to Connecticut, but when I came to see you guys last year, we had 5 or 6 events in that area, so I was just able to
Right.
fly up into Boston and then spend about a week there and come down and meet everybody, which worked out
Right.
great.
Yeah.
But yeah, site visits are something we try and do every year, and as long as I've been here, we've done them every year.
Right.
I am putting together a plan now to do site visits for this year. Um, Even though we've already had a couple of events, Lonnie just got back from California,
I know.
and I just got back from Florida. So,
Sort of.
we were on the at the exact same time. We're on the
Right.
opposite ends of the country.
Right. Right. And I know, like for me, when you rolled into, we put you up in a hotel the next town over, and we came there to pick you up, and I went in the back where you had that beautiful trailer parked.
Danced your little jig.
I'm telling you, I did the jig. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to kiss that truck. I was like,
Yeah,
it's here. The wall
yeah.
is here. I was
Well,
so
you
excited. I was
you
like a
put
little
in an
kid.
extraordinary amount of work to make that event as successful as it was.
Yeah, but it was exciting just to see. I didn't even see the walls. I didn't see nothing. I just saw the truck with your name on the truck, and I'm like, it's here, and it just made my day. I was so excited, and honestly, the guidance that Wes or any of the drivers can give you, even when it comes down to the escort, it was just great. I mean, we know we're
Was.
given that information, but you know what? Wes was the expert between him and the police chief. That's how we were going to do it. And putting up putting it up was totally amazing too. You know, it was a beautiful sight to see it coming up like that.
Yes, it is.
So,
It
yeah.
really is.
So I know since I had it come to Weathersfield in September, so many things. You got one behind you, the Veterans Creed, so many new pieces of wall, and there's a new one, the GWAT wall. Can you explain to everybody what's the difference? What did you do? What is the GWAT wall?
Okay, so um, it initially starts off at our Cost of Freedom. Our Cost of Freedom tribute consists of 9/11, Iraq, Afghanistan, or the Global War on Terror, GWAT, and then everything else in between: Grenada, Panama, Somalia, Benghazi, Desert Storm. I mean, any conflict where we have lost somebody um, since Vietnam. We have those panels for us. But we recognize that that we need to grow this global war on terror. So uh we sit down and started planning this out, and Don put some time into it to kind of figure out exactly how we want to do it. So our newest GWAT, our new GWAT tribute is 88 feet long. The center panels are 8 foot tall, and they, instead of being black, they're burnt bronze.
Beautiful.
But it encompasses that whole GWAT. It encompasses 9/11 as well as Iraq, Afghanistan. Not only Iraq, Afghanistan, but the guys we've lost in Jordan, the guys we've lost in Syria. I mean, all the way up uh, uh, to December of last year. We've included all those guys on this.
Oh,
Like I
they're
said,
on there too? They're on
yes,
there
yeah,
too?
yeah, yeah.
Wow,
They
I didn't
well,
know that.
we have pulled the last panel off the trailers, and then Tony is going to go in there and add those names to them. Again, us making our own panels gives us that option. Gives us that ability to do those things.
That is
But
just, and I love the way, correct me if I'm wrong, but the GWAT, the Global War on Terror, actually pulls the first responders out of 9/11 and gives them their own panel,
yes, so
correct?
for the first time we pulled all the first responders out of the 9/11 panels, and given them their own panels,
I love
their
that.
own panel, and it's that their own panel. It is 8 foot tall, 4 foot wide, and it's, like I said, it's a burnt bronze, and so those first responders, they have their own panel.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Because what I noticed when you were in Weathersfield was how much the first responders were there and looking at everything. And then even one of them, one of the last days you were there, there was a police officer from town, and he just, I don't know, there was something about him. I went over to him and I gave him one of the challenge coins. And then he came up to me after I gave it to him and he said, "Do you mind if I give this to my brother? He's a fire person in New York. He works there." And I'm like, "No, absolutely." And then I came back to you and I got another one.
Right.
And I went over and I gave it to him and he just gave me a big hug. And it's
Yeah.
like, those are things that you don't get anywhere else.
Mm-mm.
And to be able to have that and see it, you could tell when you look at them how they're feeling and I could just tell there was something. I had to go out and reach out to him. So we just don't know whether it's a veteran, a first responder, anything, a family member, what they're thinking or how they're feeling when they see all this,
Right.
and it's just amazing to give them that. Sometimes it's that little bit of comfort to know,
Right.
you know what, we're standing right by you, we're right here for you.
Right. And just America doing what America does. Um, you know, we do our best to never forget.
Yeah.
And in that, when generally, we have the big weekends we have every year, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, those weekends. But now, in the last, I think this year will be our third year in a row where we are completely booked out for September the 11th.
Yeah.
I mean, it has become one of the biggest days of our year.
Right.
So but as far as I know, I don't think anybody else is doing what we do
Yeah,
that encompasses both 9/11 and Iraq and Afghanistan, or the global war on terror. Let's put it that way,
exactly.
together. Right.
Exactly. When I was looking to bring this to town, I had no idea. I Googled, you guys came up.
Right.
I called and it was actually Stephanie who answered, and I had no idea about the cost of freedom. I just figured it was going to be the Vietnam Wall, blah, 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 because that's all I ever see.
Right.
Everybody posts that. I am so grateful and thankful that that was who I called first,
Right.
because the global war on terror, well, again, then it was the cost of freedom, encompassing everything. To me, was just the most beautiful part. It wasn't just, it was everything. We're honoring everybody, so it was beautiful to have that there. And I just love everything that goes along with it. And I know the town, the volunteers that were here, they were just so appreciative. And I don't like the part where we take it down, though. I don't like that
Well,
part.
I mean,
I don't like
you
that part.
get your
Yeah.
checkbook out. We'll leave it there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody says the same thing. It should have gone. It should have gone. It is a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. And if anybody is looking, we're going to have that information on here too. It is, and for us, it's the 25th of 9/11. And as you know, we've lost one of our people from Weathersfield lost her husband, another one from Weathersfield lost her brother, and a friend of mine lost her cousin. So all three of them were from town. So it means a lot to us too. The
Yes.
25th is coming up, and it's unbelievable to think 25 years. Where did
Right.
that go? You
Well,
know?
anytime we get up in the Northeast, we know that our 9/11 tribute is going to get more attention than than other locations, just because of like you said, the people in
Right
your
there.
community who's lost people. So anytime we get up in that area, it's pretty special.
It is. It
It does.
really
It gets a
is.
lot, it gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, it really does. It does get a lot of attention. And you know what? We have to keep it. We can't forget. And that's what I love about the tribute, all the walls that we have, all the tributes that we have. It especially the younger generation, they might not even realize some of this stuff, and they're learning it. And hopefully they'll never forget it
Right.
either. You
Well,
know?
that was the whole purpose of us creating, our what we call our indoor wall. It's not required to be indoors, but we designed that so it would set up on easily on a basketball court. We were just down at the Military Marine Corps Academy down in Harlingen, Texas, with all those guys, and set up on their basketball court, and it sets up. It only took up about half the court, but we designed it that way so that we can get into schools and do those things.
Yeah,
Education, is it's honor, respect, and remember,
that's
never
right.
forget. So,
That's right.
our younger generations, they need to know this.
They do. They do. And and I know sometimes I'll ask my grandkids, what did you learn, for September 11th? And it's like they talk, but they really don't. And it's like, oh my, you guys are going to forget this. You're going to forget this. We need to bring it forward.
Right.
So that's what I love about all this is I love that we're doing colored panels now.
Yes.
How
Yes.
gorgeous is that going to be? Now I know you have the Veterans Creed behind you, but you also have something different for Vietnam too, another colored type panel in Pearl Harbor or
Right. So, we still have still all 58,000 names from Vietnam. Those panels are in black and white, um, to kind of keep with that tradition. However, we have added in some artwork,
yeah,
and some imaging into those panels, just to kind of bring them alive, if you will. Um, but it's still like I said, it's still all 58,000 names. But these new panels, like you said, they're in full color, just like this, instead of just everything was black and white. But these new panels, instead of being 2 foot wide and 3 foot tall, these panels are 2 foot wide and 5 foot tall, but we have them on 6 foot A-frames, like the one standing behind
right.
me. Um, so it's we haven't set it up yet. Matter of fact, Lonnie and I have been working on it all week long, getting the frames ready and getting ready to mount the panels to the frames. And then once we do, we're either going to set them up outside in the front yard, or we're going to find a suitable location, go out and get some really good pictures. But all that color together is going to be, and they're really kind of um, color coordinated. So all of the Iraq, Afghanistan, or the GWAT is all, they all kind of have a multicam background, and the like the Desert Storm panels, they have like a chocolate chip, uniform, camouflage pattern background. So
Yeah,
it's man, they're gonna be nice. They're gonna be
yeah.
special. They're gonna definitely draw some attention.
I can't wait to see
Yeah,
them.
us
I know
too.
I saw a
Us
little
too.
bit when I came out there, but I can't wait to see it when it's all
Right.
up and everything. So, yeah. Is there anything else you want to add
Oh
for our
man.
listeners?
Um, not off the top of my head, but feel free to check out, both ABTT's Facebook page, and especially the new AFT page.
Absolutely.
Dorena, you're doing some amazing work on there. I mean, I see all the comments and everything all the time. So
Thank you.
check out
Yeah,
those, check out our websites. It has all the pictures and everything.
yeah.
If anybody in here is interested in bringing us, reach out to us. We'll be, it's what we do.
That's
We
right.
travel, we've got events in California, all the way north to Washington State, all the way over to Boston this year, and all the way down to Florida, and we've got about 30 other towns throughout, the middle of America. So I mean, we're
Right.
we're all over the place.
Yeah. And we have a whole list of what's already been planned. It's on the Facebook pages so
Sure,
people
yeah,
can
you can
see
see
where
all of
it's
our
going. If you're not
you
bringing it to you, go there.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
and see
So
it.
hopefully somebody in Alaska is going to find us and bring us
There
out
you
there.
go.
That's my goal. I
Yeah,
have
there
yet to
you
be
go.
to Alaska.
Yeah, right
Alaska and
now I don't
Hawaii is
want
the
to
only two
know.
places.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't want to know about any snow or cold. I want that to go away now. Give me Hawaii. Yeah. So, but anyways, thank you, Wes, and thank you for your
You're welcome,
service
Drina.
and
Thank
your
you for what you do and
continued.
what you continue to
Yeah.
do. Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah, and everything that you're doing for all of our veterans, I want to thank you for that. And as Wes said, if you would like to know more on how you can bring the tribute to your community, you can email me at dfederici.aft@gmail.com. And then as we have our Facebook pages, America's Freedom Tribute, our website, America's Tribute, americasfreedomtribute.org. And again, thank you for listening. And let's end this one like we have the past few. Keep the family and the troops in your prayers that they come home safe and this conflict does not last that long. But thank you to everybody. And remember, veterans' voices matter today and every day. So until next time, I want to thank you for being here. See you later.
All right. Thanks, Drina.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.